When I was a kid and first heard the story of Cain and Abel, I felt that there was something fundamentally unfair about it. Now that I'm carving the story, I got the same feeling about it. Cain feels that his offering has been unfairly rejected. And for the most part, I think that his feelings are justified. It's the murder that is unjustified. And it's his inability to process his emotions that lead him to actions that have permanent consequences. My name is Francisco, and on this channel I react to the verses that I'm carving. Carving the Bible is a project to copy the entire Bible word by word into granite in an effort to preserve it for the distant future in a more durable medium than paper. For more information, see the description below. So let's take a look at the story and how it plays out. And man knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, and said, I have acquired a man with the Lord. And she further bore his brother Abel. And Abel was a shepherd, but Cain was a husbandman. And in the process of time it came to pass that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering to the Lord. So Cain is a farmer, and at harvest time he decides to bring an offering to God of some of his harvest. The next verse. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of their fat. And the Lord looked upon Abel and on his offering. So Abel came afterwards. Maybe he got this idea from his brother and decided to copy him. But he brought the firstlings and their fat, which essentially means that he brought something better. He not only copied Cain, but he one-upped him. As a result, God looked upon Abel and his gift, meaning that he paid attention to them. Verse 5. And upon Cain and on his offering he did not look, and Cain was very angry, and his countenance fell. So, after paying attention to Abel and his gift, he ignores Cain and his gift. That's what he did not look upon means. And Cain got angry, and his countenance fell, which means he was disappointed. Let's retell this story away from the labels of Cain and Abel and the context that we normally see it in. I think it's going to give us a little bit of a fresh perspective on the story. Let's call them James and John. Let's say that John knows that his parents' anniversary is coming up and decides to get them a gift. His younger brother James notices what John is doing and decides that he will also get them a gift, but something better than what James got them. And when the day arrives, their parents pay attention to the gift from James and ignore John's gift. So you plan this special gift. Your younger brother copies you and then one-ups you. Trying to make you look bad? Maybe. His gift is accepted and yours is ignored. Yours is looked down upon. So John gets angry that he's been copied and one-upped by his little brother. And he's disappointed that his parents are ignoring his gift. This is a direct parallel to the actions and emotions in the story of Cain and Abel. This sensitivity towards unfairness is very deeply rooted in our nature. At times we all feel that we've been treated unjustly, that there's some bias against us, whether from parents or bosses or other authorities, fate, or even God. But the story of Cain and Abel tells us that the unfairness is not relevant to the actions that we take. And it's not relevant to whether or not we will survive the experience. So what happens next? Verse 6. And the Lord said to Cain, why are you angry? And why is your countenance fallen? If you do well, will not your countenance look up with confidence? And if you do not do well, sin lies at the door, and unto you shall be his desire, and you shall rule over him. So God basically says, why are you angry and disappointed? Next time bring me a better gift, and you won't be disappointed. And if you don't, sin lies waiting for you. And this is not to say that Cain's gift was bad. Remember what Genesis 3 says, that man will till the soil by the sweat of his brow, fighting the thorns and the thistles along the way. Cain worked for his gift. He struggled and cursed with the ground to reap a harvest. But it's ignored. Bring a better offering next time, he's told. Cain is right to be disappointed, and his anger is a natural human reaction. But the warning that comes after it is also true. Sin, in this case anger and resentment, they lie at the door. They're waiting for you. And we need to rule ourselves, our emotions, not the other way around. And Cain spoke to his brother, and it came to pass when they were in the field that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. He was not able to control his rage. His sense that the whole thing was unfair, his resentment against being ignored and rejected, led to this terrible act. And this is the reason why this story is important. Unfair things happen to all of us. Half of the world's great literature, in my opinion, is about dealing with unfair situations. It's a fundamental aspect of human experience. People have biases. Someone doesn't like you for some reason. You don't get the promotion you deserve. Parents might like one child over another. Sometimes good people suffer, experience loss, get sick. Sometimes bad people get lucky, gain wealth, unexpected success. What the story of Cain and Abel tells us is that we cannot let that sense of unfairness dominate us. We have to let that go. We must get beyond those emotions because that is the only way we're going to survive. That is what's crouching by the door, an uncontrolled sense of resentment and unfairness. However justified your feelings might be. It's only when you put that aside and decide, okay, how am I going to deal with this? How am I going to overcome this? That is what will get you somewhere. That is part of what the story is saying. Yes, there's a lot of unfairness. Now, what are you going to do about it? In that sense, we are all Cain. We all feel those emotions at some time. And if we make Cain an other, a complete outsider, a mythical evil person who is angry and jealous for no reason, we will not benefit from this story. We need to be able to see ourselves in Cain at some level so that we can recognize those feelings when they arise and know what to do with them. But let's continue with the story. And the Lord said to Cain, "Where is Abel your brother?" And he said, "I know not. Am I my brother's keeper?" And he said, "What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood is crying to me from the ground. And now be you cursed from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you till the ground, it shall not henceforth yield you its strength. A wanderer and a fugitive shall you be on the earth." And Cain said to the Lord, "My punishment is too great to be borne. Behold, you have driven me this day from the face of the ground, and from your face shall I be hid, and I shall be a wanderer and fugitive on the earth. And it will come to pass that everyone who finds me will slay me." So Cain loses everything. He's no longer a farmer, his trade, and he has to leave the community, which in those days could be a death sentence. And in the next verse, God gives him a mark to protect him. The story of Cain and Abel is not only a theological reflection, it's an insightful psychological explanation of basic human emotions and how to manage them. Emotions that are constantly getting us into trouble, and when out of control can lead us to lose ourselves and everything we value, including our souls.